At 9:21 on the night of July 25, 2026, Russian emergency services received a distress call from high on Mount Elbrus. 6 climbers were trapped at approximately 5,100 meters. They could not find their way down, and the weather around them was becoming almost impossible to survive. Among the 6 people still on the mountain was a very unusual climber, a cat named Macika, who belonged to Alma and Denis, a married couple from Bosnia. 8 rescuers were sent toward them. Nobody knew how little time the group had left. To understand how 6 experienced climbers became trapped there, we need to go back less than 24 hours. The couple had posted a photograph from 4,500 meters. They were preparing for the final push for the summit. They were experienced mountaineers from Zenica, but they were also known online for another reason. Years earlier, they had adopted Macika. She gradually began joining them on their adventures. She rode in a backpack, sat on their shoulders, and posed with them on mountain summits. She had climbed above 3,000 meters and traveled with them throughout Bosnia and other parts of Europe. Online, the 3 were known as the Trio Fantastico. In the message beneath their final photograph, the couple asked their followers to keep their fingers crossed. They also announced that Macika was coming with them toward the highest point in Europe. Mount Elbrus rises 5,642 meters above the Russian Caucasus. Its normal route is not considered highly technical, and its gradual slopes can appear almost gentle. But that appearance is dangerously misleading. The upper mountain is an enormous white landscape with few recognizable features. When clouds descend and snow blows across the surface, the horizon can disappear. The ground, sky, and air become the same color. Climbers call this a whiteout. Inside one, even an experienced mountaineer can leave the correct route without realizing it. At that altitude, every movement is made harder by thin air. If someone becomes exhausted, disoriented, or dangerously cold, there may be nowhere nearby to shelter. The expedition had actually started with 7 climbers, not 6. They were all registered with the Russian authorities, but were climbing independently, without a local guide. The forecast had appeared safe, and the beginning of the climb gave them no reason to expect what was coming. The first serious problem began near 5,500 meters, when Alma started feeling unwell. Denis and the group's doctor turned around with her. The other 4 climbers continued for only another 50 to 100 meters. Then they met another team coming down. Those climbers warned them that the route ahead was covered and almost nothing could be seen. The remaining 4 immediately abandoned their summit attempt and began descending. On the way down, they rejoined Alma, Denis, and the doctor. Alma's condition was becoming worse, despite their attempts to warm her and help her continue. Freezing rain and powerful wind reduced visibility to less than 1 meter. The climbers lost the route markers, and their attempts to contact mountain rescue failed because they could not get a reliable signal. 1 climber remained with the couple and the doctor. The other 3 continued downward, hoping to find help. But then another member of the group began losing his strength and repeatedly falling. The man who had remained behind eventually caught up with them. After their attempts to restore the exhausted climber's strength failed, he told the 1 member who still had enough strength to continue down alone and find help. That climber disappeared into the whiteout. He was the man who would eventually alert the rescuers. He later said that he lost his way several times. But after nearly 3 hours, he finally reached a mountain center, found Russian climbers, and raised the alarm. Meanwhile, out of the 6 climbers who remained on the mountain, only 1 was still strong enough to attempt a descent. Before doing so, he stayed with his companions for approximately another 5 hours, during which he massaged them, encouraged them, and did everything he could to keep them alive. Once he realized he could do nothing more, he began descending alone. He also lost the route, but Russian rescuers eventually found him at approximately 4,000 meters by following signals he was able to send. He was the only one of the 6 people who remained on the mountain to survive that day. The other 5 climbers, including Alma and Denis, could not be saved. I know you are all wondering what happened to Macika. Macika appeared in the couple's final photographs, and their last message clearly said she was joining the climb. So, There was little doubt that she had gone with them. But Russian officials initially reported that no cat had been found. In a storm that had already taken 5 lives, rescuers had understandably focused on locating the human members of the expedition. Then one of the 2 survivors revealed what had happened. Macika had been found with Alma and Denis, sheltered inside one of their backpacks. For years, she had traveled that way, carried along mountain trails, brought out for photographs, and kept close whenever the terrain became difficult. And when rescuers finally reached them on Elbrus, that was where Macika still was. The final journey of the Trio Fantastico had ended the same way so many of their adventures had begun, with all 3 of them together. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.